Good morning. Welcome to today's English lesson on AfriSchool Education Platform. Today we are looking at adverbs. Adverbs from our grammar are words that answer the questions. Adverbs are words that answer questions of when, how often, to what extent, and where. So the adverbs are words that answer the questions of when, how often, to what extent, and where. These adverbs give more information about verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. So our today's topic, as we have said, is adverbs. And adverbs are English words. In fact, it is a part of speech that answers the questions of when, how often, to what extent, and where. So in short, these adverbs give more information about verbs. A verb is an action. So it will tell us how an action was done, where an action was done, how often an action was done, to what extent an action was done, and where an action was done. So we can look at examples of adverbs. So we have adverbs of manner. Adverbs of manner are represented by the word how. This one shows us how an action was done, how an action happened. In a sentence, we can put in a sentence and say, she sings melodiously. The word melodiously is an adverb of manner. The word melodiously tells us how this person sings. And the word melodiously gives more information about the verb sings. That is why we said it gives more information about verbs. So, another sentence, she writes legibly. She writes legibly. The word legibly is an adverb of manner. The word legibly tells us how she writes. The word legibly gives more information about verb writes. It tells us how she writes. It is an adverb. Those ones are adverbs of what? Those ones are adverbs of manner. So we got another type, adverbs of degree. These are represented by the word To what extent? They answer the question, to what extent? Or at which extent this verb, this thing has been done. So we can put in a sentence and understand it better. He was injured seriously. So seriously is our adverb of degree. Somebody might have been injured. We can have several types of injuries. When you are just pricked by a compass of a set or a metal, that is an injury, yes. When you are cut, almost your finger is hanging, that is an injury. When you fall down and you hurt each and every part of your body, that is an injury. So what kind of injury are you talking about? To what degree was this person injured? So that is why we say he was injured seriously. And the word injured is the verb that is being given more information about. Seriously is giving more information about the verb injured. And seriously is an adverb of degree that tells us to what extent this person was injured. So we can have adverbs of place, adverbs of place. These ones answer the question of where. This is the place where an action takes place. This is the place where an action is done. This is the place where the action of whatever is being done takes place. And if we can put in a sentence and say, you should leave your shoes outside. Or we can say, I bought my jacket abroad. The word outside is an adverb of place. It answers the question where. Where should I leave my shoes? Where should he, where should she leave her shoes? Outside. When I say I bought my jacket abroad, abroad answers the question where I bought my jacket. So the word where, the word outside, as well as the word abroad, are adverbs of place. They tell us the place an action happened. They tell us the place an action took place. And now they are giving more information about the word leave, about the verb leave. This outside is giving more information about the verb leave. This means where this person is supposed to leave the shoes. Abroad is giving more information about the verb bought. This is where the jacket was bought, where the buying took place. So we also have an adverb of frequency. Adverb of frequency. It answers the question, how often? This is how many times an action has taken place. How often simply means how many times. How many times does an action take place? An adverb of frequency tells us the many times an action takes place, tells us how many times, the frequency, the times of an action happening. So we can have an example and say, he visits the clinic daily. Daily is an adverb of frequency. We can also have he comes here frequently. Frequently is also an adverb of frequency. So daily means how many times? He comes every day. That is an adverb of frequency. When you say he comes here daily, he visits us daily, that means the times, the frequency at which this person visits, at which this person comes. That means he comes every day. And when you say he comes here frequently, then he comes more often. He comes more often. Frequently is an adverb of frequency that tells us how often this person comes here. So as we continue, can rub this part. Sorry, I rubbed the heading. Let me return the heading, adverbs. So another type is adverbs of time. Adverbs of time answer the question of when. That is when an action happened. We can have an example and say in a sentence, he came late. Late is an adverb of time. He arrived yesterday. Yesterday is an adverb of time. So the word late, when we say he came late, the word late is an adverb of time showing when this person came. It is an adverb of time showing the time of arrival, the time of this person arriving. When we say he arrived yesterday, yesterday was the time that this person arrived. So these two words, late and yesterday, are adverbs of time indicating when the action was done. And as we said that the adverbs give more information about verbs, the word late is giving more information about the verb came, as well as the word yesterday is giving more information about the verb arrived. So those are the types of adverbs. And now we can briefly look at how we form adverbs, formation of adverbs. Formation of adverbs. And we say adverbs are formed from adjectives. Formed from adjectives. So for us to add adjectives into adverbs, we have to add a few things to the adjective, to the word, so that we can do what? So that we can be able to change it from being an adverb to change it from being an adjective to a verb, to an adverb. So when we add something like ly to an adjective, then we will find a new word. We will form a new word which we call an adverb. So let's have examples and say adjective, then adverb formed. Then the adjective we have nice, we have generous, we have honest. So we are going to add ly and we have nicely, we have generously, we have honestly. So the major way, the most efficient way of forming adverbs is adding ly to adjectives. When we add ly to adjectives, we form an adverb. And from the words we have formed, nice is an adjective. When we add ly, it becomes an adverb. And we can say she speaks nicely. That is now an adverb. She gives generously. Generous was an adjective. After adding ly, we came up, we formed an adverb. And we can say she gives generously. She offered generously. So, if you can allow me to rub this part so that we can continue a little bit. We are still continuing with the formation of adverbs. How we form adverbs. The major way of forming adverbs is using ly. And we have adjectives that end in y. Adjectives that end in y. They end with y, like the word happy, like the word hungry. So for us to form adverbs out of these adjectives, we have to drop the y and add ly. We drop y to add ly. So we will have the word happily. We will have the word hungrily. So we have dropped the y in order for us to add ly and form an adverb. So from the word happy, we came up with the word happily. From the word hungry, we came up with the word hungrily. And you say, she spoke happily. She attended to the guests happily. And on the other hand, we can say, she ate hungrily. The hyena ate hungrily. So we have also adjectives that end in IC, like the word majestic, tragic. We can also have sympathetic. These are adverbs still. So these ones we just add ly directly. And we'll have majestically. We add ally, sorry, A-double-L-Y. We add A-double-L-Y. So this one will have tragically. This one will have sympathetically. So we can even construct sentences from these words, and we can say, she walked majestically, someone who walks with calculated steps, somebody who walks boldly. And we can say, she walked majestically. So majestically has been formed from the word majestic. Majestic ends in IC. And for us to form an adjective, an adverb, sorry, out of this adjective majestic, we add A-double-L-Y to form the adverb. So that is another way of forming an adverb. Apart from adding ly, we can also add a double ly, and we can also say, my mother sounded sympathetically. That means maybe something you told your mother, and when she was responding, she sounded sympathetically. So that is also an adverb that gives more information about how your mother sounded. When you say she walked majestically, majestically is an adverb that gives more information on how this person walked. So we are going to do an activity. Let me rub the board and display the activity. We are going to do the activity and identify adverbs. I'm going to display the activity. The activity: read the passage below and identify all the adverbs used. Read the activity below and identify all the adverbs used. The activity is displayed on your screen. And we are going to identify the adverbs after having learned the types of adverbs. We have talked about the adverbs of manner, adverbs of degree, adverbs of time, adverbs of frequency. We are now going to identify them from this activity. And we say, the pickup moved slowly with young men on board. Our first adverb here is slowly. This is our first adverb. The men were shabbily adorned in green t-shirts. Shabbily is our second adverb. They danced tunefully to some music. Danced tunefully. Tunefully is our third adverb, giving more information about how they danced. Tunefully is an adverb of manner. Some of the men had trumpets, which they occasionally blew loudly. Our next adverb is occasionally, and this other one, loudly. Occasionally is an adverb of frequency. How many times these trumpets were blown, and how they were blown was loudly. The greens majestically snaked away to another part of the town. Majestically, how these greens snaked away. So majestically is an adverb of manner. I was almost reverting back to my business when I heard another noise. Reverting back. Back is an adverb of place, where they were supposed to revert to. That is back. This time it was a truck. I was completely covered with red ribbons. Completely is another adverb. The occupants were also in red. The lorry moved fast and the red men hung out dangerously. Dangerously is another adverb of manner, showing how the young men, how the red men hanged out on a lorry, on this lorry. Their vuvuzelas were extremely noisy and nearly blew out our eardrums off. Extremely is another adverb of degree. Extremely. They were very noisy. They were very noisy, because someone can be noisy, but to what extent is that person noisy? So the vuvuzela were extremely, that is an adverb of of a extent of degree, and nearly blew out our eardrums. It blew our eardrums off. They disappeared as quickly as they had appeared. Quickly, an adverb of how, an adverb of manner, how these people who were noisy disappeared. I hastily did my shopping to leave the town before another noisy group showed up. Hastily, how he did his shopping in haste, quickly. So this is also our adverb. Hastily is another adverb, and that is how we were able to identify adverbs in this activity. And you can realize that from this activity, there are all types of adverbs. We have been able to identify the adverbs of manner. We have been able to identify the adverbs of degree. We have also seen the adverbs of frequency. We have seen the adverbs of time, the adverbs of place, as we have learned from our previous episode. So adverbs are so mobile. They are these words you can use in any part of the sentence. They are words that we meet in our daily speech, and there's these words that we meet in our daily lives. We use them daily, occasionally, in everything we do. So the better you understand these adverbs, the better for you to improve on your language. So this brings us to the end of this lesson, today's lesson. Have a blessed day.